You're tuned into another episode of
Bread Before Bed.
Tonight we're studying Genesis chapter 11, and the title of this chapter is The Tower of Babel. Verse 11 starts by saying, "And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech." So, what did everybody on the earth speak?
one language and one speech.
So that's important because now at this particular point in time, everybody spoke one language. And when it says one speech, the word speech in the original language in Hebrew, it meant dialect. Dialect means when you have a person in a different region or a different territory, like we're from the South, so we tend to speak a little slower. People say the way we speak is country. But when you go like to New York, they talk a little bit faster. They talk different. You go to Baltimore, people talk different. Like here, we say my boy. You know what I'm saying? In New York, they say son. You know what I'm saying? What's up, son? Yo, son. You know what I'm saying? In Chicago, they say, what's up, shorty? You know what I'm saying? Everybody has different lingos, different dialects, different ways they pronounce words. It's still English, but they speak differently. Verse 2 reads, "And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there, and they said one to another, Go to let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they laid brick for stone, slime for mortar. And they said, Go to let us build a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth." So the Lord didn't have a problem with them building a city at all. But what they had in mind was to build a tower to heaven, right? And this is the thing. When they were trying to build a tower to heaven, this was the first form of idolatry. Idolatry means when people begin to worship fake or false gods. So the reason that they were building the tower, it was so that they could build a tall tower so that the gods that they were trying to provoke would come down to the tower and rest in the tower, and they would be able to worship the gods there. So you remember in previous chapters, we read about the Nephilim. Remember when I told you the angels had sex with the women and they made giants? So Noah and his sons probably told them all of these stories, and what the scholars, when the scholars dig into this text, they reveal how these people, the evil people, were trying to recreate the whole giants and Nephilim experience. They wanted that to happen again in their time. So that is why they were building this tower to heaven. And verse 5 reads, "And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded." So instead of the gods that they were expecting to come down, coming down, guess who came down? God. And of course, the writer is being sarcastic because God doesn't have to come down. He's already in our presence. He's already among us. But that just gives us insight when you read it in the original language, how lowly God felt about this particular tower. Verse 6 read, "And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they all have all one language, and they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Go, let us go down and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech." 8. "So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off of building the city. Therefore is the name of this place called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all on the earth, and from hence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon all the face of the earth. So instead of killing or destroying the people again, God remembered the promise that he made to Noah. So instead of destroying them, God divided them. Because if it's 1,000 people, right, and God changes their languages, then the people won't be able to speak to each other to continue the wicked work that they have started. Because you can't work together if you don't speak the same language. If you're around Spanish people and they're speaking Spanish and you can't understand them, then you will not be able to work with them. So as we read in the previous chapter, in chapter 10, it told us ahead of time that the people spread it out in the world in their own tribes and nations. So that means those that can understand each other, they went with each other into different territories and began to build their own cities and civilizations. This section is titled Shem's Descendants. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. And Shem lived after he begot Arphaxad 500 years and begot sons and daughters. And Arphaxad lived 35 years and begot Salah. And Arphaxad lived after he begot Salah 403 years and begot sons and daughters. And Salah lived 30 years and begot Eber. And Salah lived after he begot Eber 403 years and begot sons and daughters. And Eber lived 34 years and begot Peleg. And Eber lived after he begot Peleg 430 years and begot sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years and begot Reu. And Peleg lived after he begot Reu 209 years and begot sons and daughters. And Reu lived 32 years and begot Serug. And Reu lived after he begot Serug 207 years and begot sons and daughters. And Serug lived 30 years and begot Nahor. And Serug lived after he begot Nahor 200 years and begot sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 20 years and begot Terah. And Nahor lived after he begot Terah 119 years and begot sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and begot Abraham, Nahor, and Haran. So I want to point out here how it only gave us Shem's genealogy. It explained how long he lived. And it didn't do that for Japheth and Ham. The reason why is because the godly line is coming through Shem, as I explained to y'all before. 27 reads, Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begot Abraham, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begot Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity of Ur the Chaldeans. And Abraham and Nahor took wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah and the father of Iscah. But Sarai was barren, she had no child. And Terah took Abraham his son, and Lot the son of Haran's his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abraham's wife, and they went forth with them from Ur the Chaldeans to go into the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran and dwelt there. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. So what did y'all learn about the ages of each one of these people?
That they live very long.
So I want you to understand that they live very long, but their lives are starting to decrease. It started off at 800 years. Now one is dying at 500. Then the next is dying at 200. Thank you guys for tuning in to Bread Before Bed another week. Some of the lessons are kind of rushed because we're jamming a whole chapter into 10 minutes. So we have to cover as much as we can, as quick as we can, and explain what we can, the things that we feel are important in these chapters. We thank you for tuning in.